preview the Sunday school lesson that's coming up. And this is a wonderful lesson that's before us this week. Wonderfully marvelous. It's the last of the lessons in this Unit 3, Psalms of Thanksgiving and Praise. As we so often say, everything that has breath ought to praise the Lord, because God has been good to us, whether we acknowledge it or not. He has been good. He's been better than we have been to ourselves. Can I get a witness? This lesson tonight ought to draw our attention. And as I start tonight, we were driving over here, and I guess my wife thought I got quiet in the car, but I took a moment to allow my mind to run back. And when I let my mind run back, you may find me teaching the lesson before I enter the lesson, and when I finish the lesson, I want to make sure I say what the lesson is, tell you what it is, and then say it again. Can I get a witness? But I was coming over reflecting on when I was a little boy, thinking I was growing fast and I knew a lot more than I actually knew at the time. I had a great deal of respect for my father, and certainly a love and respect for my mother. There were some things that I wouldn't do in the presence of them, and there were some things I wouldn't do when they were not around, just simply because of how they raised me. And they would be clear on teaching me that in this life that we live, man and mankind has limitations that they cannot overcome. In other words, they taught me that as I was growing up, there would be days and there would be times that I would leave the household. My mother would not see me. My father would not see me because of the limitations. But they would always remind me that even though we are unable to see you at some times, there is a God. I said, there is a God who sits high and looks down low. He knows. And they taught us so that we had an understanding that we were never alone, that God was there. Whether we liked it or not, he's still there. She would teach us that you're being watched at all times. And as we were driving over here, I thought our society has reintroduced the dynamics of what my mother taught us. Because even though our parents may not be present in a time and season that we live, I can say to you tonight that somebody is always watching you. Y'all hear me tonight? I don't care who you are, somebody's watching you. I thought about the reality that when I moved to Jacksonville, there were toll booths that you had to go through. Y'all listening to me? There were toll booths you had to pass through, and you would have to stop at the toll booth, pay the toll, and then you would drive off. But I don't know whether you noticed or not, but there are some places that you can go, even in the state and even in the city of Jacksonville, that nobody is standing in the toll booth. But when you go through certain areas, there's a camera that will snap a picture of your tag. They'll run the tag number and send you a bill in the mail. Can I get a witness? You might think you can slip through the toll, but I got news for you. Those cameras will catch you. And not only in the toll booth areas or areas where in the state of Florida they charge you to travel a particular highway, but go into a store. They used to have people watching you. They would walk around the store behind you. Now they got so many cameras in the store, even if they're not walking behind you, they can still see you. Y'all gonna listen to me this evening? They will still see you, and if you act like you might be doing something that they don't want done, they will get a closer view of you than they sometimes do of other people in the store. Y'all gonna listen to me tonight? All I'm trying to say is our society has reintroduced without full consideration the words that my mother and my father taught me. And that is, no matter who you are, no matter where you go, somebody is watching you. When I was raised, they knew us by our eyes and by our last name. People would look at you and they put you in a family. And if you ever got caught doing something contrary to what you had been trained to do, they would say, aren't you so-and-so and so's boy? Are y'all listening to me? Because the people were watching. You weren't worried about one household raising a child. A child was raised in the community. I wish I had somebody listening to me now. And no matter what happened, from time to time, there might be a situation where people ask the question, my Lord. When they ask you a question, you have to respond accordingly. But the writer of Psalm 139 tonight helps bring to our remembrance the things that I'm talking about, because in this life that we live, it ain't a matter of what a person might think about me. It's not a matter of whether or not I may make some mistakes, because everybody does. It's not a matter, my brothers and sisters, of whether I sin or I don't sin. The Bible say all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Can I get a witness here tonight? Psalm 139 in stanza number 1 say, O Lord, thou hast searched me and know me. Y'all gonna let me talk for a few minutes tonight? The writer said, he has searched me and he knows me. There was a writing in the commentary, and I noticed that the commentary writer gave an introduction in the commentary, and he mentioned the reality that was a shop that was run by a woman whose name was Sarah, and Sarah had a customer that would come on a regular and consistent basis by the name of Mr. Thompson. He was an elderly man whose time and life struggles had weathered him a bit. But he would come to this coffee shop on a regular basis. But Sarah was a very kind woman who watched him, who observed him, who understood when he would come, what he wanted, and where he would sit and how he would behave. And one day her curiosity got the best of her, and she went over to this man and she said to him, Mr. Thomas, sir, forgive me if this is too personal. She asked him, why do you come here every day? What's on your mind? I don't know about you, but I'm sure there's some places that most of us go on a regular and consistent basis. Well, Mr. Thompson would go to this coffee shop, and when she spoke with him, I thank God that she was willing to talk to him, because sometimes in the places we go today, people can see you every day and don't want to talk to you. Y'all listen to me? They can walk right past you and don't say a single word to you. But I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, I encourage you to talk to people when you go places. As you're passing through, don't be ashamed to say good morning. Don't be ashamed to say, how are you doing? Don't be ashamed to start a conversation with people that you encounter, because if you do this, there's much that you and I can learn. Can I get a witness? When Sarah spoke to Mr. Thompson, he responded with a smile, revealing a lifetime of memories. He said to Sarah in this introduction, I lost my wife a year ago. We married 63 years. He said this coffee shop was our secret place to share our dreams, share our fears, and to share our laughter. You and I don't know what a person is going through. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know what they need. We just don't have it in our own mind, but there is a God that knows. And even when we talk to him and give them opportunity to share, they might say some things that will lift up our spirits. Sarah listened to his story. Being captivated, she asked, "But why continue coming alone?" Mr. Thompson responded to her, "Because, my dear, I believe God still meets me here." Great God from Zion. Can I say that again? He's been coming there with his wife. His wife can't come no more. But he said, "I believe that God still meets me here." And he said, just like he met us when she was alive. You see, this coffee shop is our modern day Psalm 139, where it reads, "The Lord, thou hast searched me and know me." Now, this text is more than just a casual knowledge, my brothers and sisters. It's more than just a casual knowledge. See, some people think they know you, and they have a casual reference about you. But the term search refers to a careful examination. There were people that used this to describe exploring the land. There were people that used it to investigate a legal case or dig deep into a mine. To search is more than having a general understanding. To search means to dig deeper. No matter what you're studying, you got to go a little deeper than that. I remember when I was in some college classes, and everybody had gotten excited about this thing called Google, because you could go on Google and find out some information just about anything you wanted to research. The instructors in the college practice changed our behavior, because they told us we could not use Google for the purpose of studying for this class, because Google was a superficial evaluation. It was a simplistic way of searching the subject, but they wanted us to dig deeper. So you couldn't stop with Google. You had to find something that they considered better than Google. You had to find something where nobody said just what they thought, but somebody evaluate what somebody else thought and went deeper in to their subject of discussion to find out whether or not they could critically evaluate the study that was done by somebody else. I wish I had somebody here tonight. To search means to go deeper. To search is more than a casual relationship. The psalmist writes, and David has been credited with this psalm. He writes, "O Lord, thou hast searched me." Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like for some people to know who I am. Can I get a witness? But there's nobody I'd like to know me better than God. When God knows you, you know, he knows what you need before you even ask him. Can I get a witness? When God knows you, he knows more about you and more about me than we can ever think in our own mind, because God has a level of knowledge that surpasses all our understanding. Y'all gonna let me talk for a little while? This the writer said, "O Lord, thou hast searched me." In other words, God has gone so deep that he knows our heart. And you can't deceive him. You know how we are. Pastor used to say, we say one thing and do another. Well, God knows who we are. He knows how we think. He knows what we're going to say, and he knows what we're going to do. So if we say one thing, he already knows whether we're going to do the thing we said or whether we're going to do what he instructs us to do. He knows our heart. We can't fool him. Can I get a witness? My mama would say, "Yeah, you can come home. You may not tell me, but God knows." Ain't that all right? He knows. He knows. And as long as he knows, that he knows what needs to be, he knows what needs to be done. David may have been one, and some others like Adam may have been one that would have tried to conceal their true selves. Adam, where are you? Adam? Well, I hear myself. What's up with that? Why are you hiding yourself? Well, God knew where he was. He didn't have to ask him where he was. He spoke to him to give him an opportunity to tell the truth. Can I say it like that? The writer said, he has searched me and he know me. Do you understand that God knows you? I said, do you understand? You ought to understand that God knows you, and no matter who you are, God knows everything there is to know about you. Now, he don't mind you coming to him and letting him know the trials and tribulations that you're facing in life. He already knows about them, but when you go there to talk to him, then that's as if you already know that God is your Father, and that he is concerned about the difficult situations that you have to endure, that he's interested in your welfare and well-being. He knows, but he wants us to come unto me, the word declares, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and God said, I will give you rest. I'm glad the writer said that the Lord had searched him and that the Lord knows him, because when I listen to him, I think for myself that the same God that knew David and all that he had done and what he had been through is the same God that knows me and what it is I've been through. Not only what I've been through, but he knows what I'm going to have to face on tomorrow. Can I get the witness now? I may not know what's going to happen tomorrow, but God knows. The writer goes on in the second stanza and he said, thou know my sitting and my uprising. My Lord. Isn't that something? He's able because he knows. He doesn't have to search, as I said, on Google. He's got the raw data. Isn't God all right? He's got what is needed to make a decision. He knows when I sit down. He knows when I get up. And he, not only that's the physical movement and activity, but he also knows the thoughts of our mind. The writer said, thou understandest my thoughts afar off. Before I even say anything, he already knows what I'm thinking. Y'all follow the scripture? Yeah. Well, I knew you before while you were sitting over there. Can I get a witness? He knew what the disciples were doing before they even understood that he was there. God is an awesome God. I don't know about you, but I'm excited about it since he knows who I am, since he understands my thoughts. He is the one that can mold and fashion me and shape me and direct me in the direction that I need to go. The writer goes on in the third stanza. He said, thou compass my path and my lying down. And not only that, you are acquainted with all my ways. Ain't nothing hid from God. Can I get a witness today? He knows us intimately. He knows us. There's nothing that we can do that God does not know about. How do you think he knows that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God? Because he knows. Can I get a witness? And I'm glad that we can acknowledge that God knows our thoughts and God knows our actions. Don't ever think you're going to do something God don't know anything about. And when you do something, you may as well keep your mouth shut on that little subject and that little phrase that people use down through the years. The devil made me do it. My Lord. God will tell you the devil didn't make you do nothing. You might be persuaded, you might be bumped or nudged a little bit, but your actions, they ain't the devil. The devil just stirred you up. You took the action. He said, the writer, for there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it already. Can I say it like this? Before I say what I say, God knows what's going to come out of my mouth. Are y'all listening to me? Now, why would somebody want to express these things to people who are going to read and understand the writer's intent? The writer's intent is to help us realize that since God knows and God is watching over us, he just wants us to be a little more conscious of what it is that we're doing. As I'm traveling sometimes, I have a tendency to use the GPS system, and I use GPS even when I already know where I'm going. I use GPS because sometimes it'll give you a notification that the traffic backs up ahead of you, and instead of driving on down the highway into the traffic that's already stopped, I'll recognize the traffic stopped up there, no need to go down that road. I'll take the exit before I get to the stop and go in another direction so I can get around the stop that's in the highway. Well, God, he knows, my brothers and sisters, he knows what's going on with me, and he is acquainted with all of our ways. So instead of going down the road in the wrong direction, God will guide and order my steps in your word. The Bible declares he will lead us and guide us into all righteousness. Can I get a witness here tonight? When God does what he does, he keeps us away from trouble. He'll lead us, can I get a witness? Through seen and unseen dangers. Instead of going to the intersection you want to go to, God redirects you. You start wondering, why in the world am I going this way? And then you show up still where you were going, but you just don't understand why you took the route you did when you're so accustomed to doing it another way. It's because God knows what's best for you. He's the one that orders our step. He's the one that directs our path based upon what he knows about us, and what he knows about us, most of us act like we don't even know it ourselves. He said, "Oh Lord, thou knowest it altogether." Watch this. The writer says this to us. Thou hast beset me behind and before. Are y'all listening to me? You got me covered. So I don't have to be sweating and worried about who's coming up behind me. Because God is aware of what's happening behind you. He's able to protect us even from seen and unseen dangers. I said he's able to stop the enemy that's out to stab us in the back. God can stay the hand of the enemy. I wish I had somebody here today. He looks out for what's going on behind you. He looks out for what's going on in front of you. And not only that, he does something that I do to my son sometime, and he doesn't understand what it is I'm doing. The writer say, he laid thine hand upon me. Sometimes when I got those boys and they acting ornery, sometimes I'll just lay my hand on their head. We walk through the stores, and I'm sure they feel like sometimes, why he got his hand on my head? Y'all listen to me. But I got my hand on your head to lead you. I got my hand on your head so that I can keep you going in the right direction. I got my hand on your head so I can protect you from hurt, harm, and from danger. I got my hand on your head because you're not listening to what I say. You don't realize that I got you covered from the back. I'm looking at what's going on in front of you. And since you don't understand and you don't listen, I put my hand on your head to lead you in the right direction. Can I get a witness? The writer said, thou hast beset me behind and before. And it's all right to be protected behind. It's all right to be protected by making sure that what you're coming up on is already addressed. But the reality, most of us, if we're not careful, would walk right into danger unless the Lord had his hands on us. So put his hand upon me. Do you know, my brothers and sisters, that the God we serve loves you? Do y'all hear me? The God we serve loves you so much that he has beset you behind and before, and has laid his hand upon you. We used to sing a song in the church, lay your hand on me, Jesus, I don't mind. Are y'all listening to me? We used to sing that song, and if you sing it and sing it right, it won't be long before you start feeling something. Y'all listening to me? Because when you ask the Lord to lay his hands on you, he hear your prayer. He will do what you asked him to do. And when he puts his hand on you, it can bring you down. It puts you at ease because now you don't have to worry about what you were worrying about before because he's got his hand on you. I wish I had some witnesses here. How does he do it? Somebody might ask, I come by to tell you tonight that like the writer says to us in this psalm, he said, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. How God knows so much about me, how he knows so much about you, I can't get it. Are y'all listening to me tonight? I cannot personally get it because it's too much for me. We used to say when I was working, it's above my pay grade. There's a limit to what each and every one of us can comprehend and understand. And there's so many of us that do not comprehend and understand what God is doing in our lives and how he managed to know more about us than we even know about ourselves. I wish I had somebody here tonight that could acknowledge that there have been times in my life that I've been in situations that I did not understand. I was in predicaments that I could not get myself out of, but then all of a sudden there was a way made out of no way. Ain't God all right tonight? And the reason why these things happen is because the Lord God in heaven, he knows all about you. The psalmist say, whither shall I go from thy spirit? That tells me to tell you that there is no place you can hide. No matter where you go, God knows where you are. No matter what you try to do, God knows what you are trying to do. And I've known him to stop in tracks. Ain't God all right? When you're trying to go in the wrong direction. Y'all remember that story about the man who was going out on his donkey. And all of a sudden, the donkey stopped. Y'all gonna listen to me tonight? And the man began to hit the donkey. My Lord, is the only place I know that a donkey talks. Because God made the donkey to talk, and he asked him, why did you hit me? Y'all don't mind me paraphrasing, do you? And the donkey told him that there is an angel standing in the way. He had a flame of sword swinging in the air. And if God had not stopped him, that man would have lost his life. But I come to tell you that God is with us, my brothers and my sisters. And if you ask the question, whether shall I flee from the presence of our God, I'd have to tell you that there is no place that you can go that God doesn't know about. The writer said, if I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. Is God all right tonight? He said, if I make my bed in hell, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, he said, even there shall your hand lead me. Yeah, and the right hand shall hold me. I like to say it like this: God's got his hand on me. I don't know about you, but I'm glad about it. Yes, I have my share of life's ups and downs, but when trouble come, I realize I'm still in God's hand. Ain't God all right tonight? If I say surely, let me get in the dark space over in the corner. Dark places cannot hide me from God. I'm glad about it because night and light is the same in the sight of God. I'm glad about it. Yeah, that's what the psalmist say. Darkness hideth not from God, but night shine as the day. Ain't God all right? And darkness as the light are both alike to him. I'm glad to report tonight that there is no God like my God. He sits high and he still looks down low. I'm glad about it. He made some promises that I still believe. He said, lo, I am with you even until the end of the age. I believe him. I believe him because everything he said he would do, that's what he has done. I'm glad about